Prepare to delve into the depths of the psyche of one of cinema's most iconic and disturbing creatures. Have you ever wondered what truly drives an alien hunter whose existence is entirely defined by honor, ritual, and relentless challenge? Get ready to uncover not just the nature of a cosmic predator, but a dark reflection on how the ceaseless pursuit of supremacy can transform the very essence of a being. What you're about to discover will change your perception of what it means to be a predator, and how the pursuit of excellence can lead down paths that defy our understanding of good and evil. They inhabit an environment where hierarchy is defined by hunting prowess, and technological and social development is directly driven by the need to refine their tracking techniques, camouflage, close-quarters combat, and the use of complex weaponry. This unforgiving environment shapes a psyche where the pursuit of a worthy enemy is the supreme goal, almost an obsession. It is as if every fiber of their being cries out for an opponent who can truly test their physical and mental limits, and whose defeat not only validates their existence, but also elevates their status within the Yatya community. The cruelty we observe in this context isn't an end in itself, an expression of gratuitous sadism. On the contrary, it's an intrinsic evolution of its own predatory culture, a refinement that intensifies over time. On one hand, there's an inherent respect for strong warriors, a strict code of conduct that prevents them from indiscriminately eliminating unarmed beings, children, or those who don't pose a challenge. This honor is crucial to their Yatya identity. On the other hand, there's the incessant and almost obsessive need to prove their superiority, to validate their culture and their place in the universe by overcoming formidable adversaries. Psychologically, we could analyze this through the lens of the need for self-affirmation and social validation taken to a cosmic extreme. They don't seek annihilation out of hatred or revenge, but for the affirmation of their identity as supreme hunters, as the apex of the galactic food chain. Each victory isn't just the addition of a trophy. It's the reinforcement of their own self-esteem, the pride of their species, and the confirmation of their life philosophy. It's at this point that the line between hunting and the obsession with predatory excellence blurs. The thrill of finding a worthy target is almost an addiction, a relentless pursuit of that adrenaline rush that only a fair battle can provide. And it was there that the meaning of their hunt began to become something even more relentless than ever before, an imperative for their own psyche. Imagine that, over countless generations, the search for more challenging prey ceased to be merely a matter of sustenance or ritual and transformed into an existential necessity. This isn't a sudden behavioral shift, but a continuous refinement of their techniques and, more importantly, their philosophies of hunting. The true trigger was the progressive contact with increasingly intelligent, adaptable, and resilient species, such as humans themselves, who, despite their apparent physical fragility, demonstrated surprising tenacity and improvisational ability. This encounter drastically raised the stakes, transforming the hunt from a mere survival ritual into a test of validation for their very existence and supremacy. But an inherent consequence of their worldview, other species are, in essence, potential prey, stepping stones in their ascent to perfection. The suffering of others is irrelevant in the face of fulfilling their code, which prioritizes the honor of the hunt. But there was something in their constant pursuit that even they didn't foresee, an evolution in their own instinct that would change the nature of their hunts, making them not just a ritual, but a form of existential self-affirmation. The universe of the predator, or as their species calls themselves, the Yatya, plunges us into a setting where hunting isn't merely a sport, but the very foundation of their society, an ancestral ritual that permeates every aspect of their existence. From their earliest breaths, a Yatya is immersed in a culture that exalts strength, intelligence, discipline, and above all, the ability to overcome extreme challenges. For them, the act of hunting is a continuous test of worth, a path to personal and tribal validation. The trophy, be it a skull, a spine, or another symbolic object from the prey, isn't just spoils. It's a vivid testament to their honor, skill, and the respect earned in combat. This respect is fundamental. A Yotia hunter only becomes complete after their first worthy hunt. Their initial situation isn't based on an anomaly or imbalance, but on a brutally established equilibrium maintained by their own species over eons. The predator's breaking point isn't an individual trauma in the human sense, a painful experience that diverts its path. This transformation creates a subtle yet profound internal conflict within the predator's psyche. The predator's mind is a fascinating and complex structure, forged by millennia of evolution and a rigorous code of conduct that permeates every aspect of its existence. Its structured darkness doesn't stem from a psychological disorder or chaotic behavior, but from a profound internalization of hunting as the ultimate expression of its existence and intelligence. Every technological tool, every combat strategy, every step in its pursuit reveals a highly analytical, meticulous, and patient mind. They don't act on impulse. They study their targets with surgical precision, analyzing their routines, habits, weaknesses, and strengths. Their actions are not random, but calculated with an almost chilling coldness, like a life-or-death chess game where every move is anticipated and every countermove foreseen. We can draw parallels with natural predators on Earth, like the most efficient wild felines or birds of prey, but with an intelligence and technology that elevate them to an exponentially high level. Morality, or the lack thereof in strictly human terms, is entirely justified by their own culture and worldview. Only the strongest and most cunning prevail. For them, battle against a worthy enemy is not just a confrontation, but the highest form of interaction, a duel where honor is earned through overcoming. Facts such as their categorical refusal to attack unarmed prey, children, or those who don't pose a fair challenge, as well as the honor bestowed upon opponents who demonstrated exceptional bravery, reveal a rigid and paradoxical internal logic. They operate within a belief system that, while alien to our sensibility, is entirely consistent and self-validating. There's no guilt, just the fulfillment of a purpose. Their advanced technology, such as optical camouflage and plasma weaponry, are not just tools. They are extensions of their own predatory will, developed to level the playing field and ensure the challenge is fair for both sides. But behind this seemingly immutable logic, the true monster was still dormant, waiting for the opportunity to manifest in its purest form, the relentless pursuit of absolute excellence without remorse. For the predator, the point of no return doesn't manifest as an act of moral transgression that deviates it from a previously established path, but rather as the culmination of its existential purpose. It's the moment when the pursuit of trophies transcends the mere maintenance of tribal hierarchy and becomes an absolute imperative for the definition of its own identity. There is no turning back, for the path of the hunt, of challenge, and of proving superiority is the only conceivable path for their species. Their worldview is entirely focused on the hierarchy of strength and cunning. The hunter at the apex and the prey below, waiting to be tested in an epic struggle. The exploration of morality in this context presents us with a profound ethical dilemma. If a species has evolved with hunting as its central pillar and its method of validation, where does ethics reside in its conduct? For the predator, the concepts of right and wrong are redefined and validated by their own culture and their code of honor. They rationalize their actions not as acts of gratuitous cruelty, but as part of a superior natural order, a selection of the fittest, where the victor proves their worth. The question, what if they're right, is unsettling and forces us to confront our own preconceptions and our anthropocentric view of morality. What if the predator's existence is merely the ultimate expression of a primal predatory instinct that also resides, latently or controlled, within us? The relentless pursuit of a worthy adversary, the celebration of victory over the strongest, and the constant need to push limits are the pillars that define them. To stop hunting would mean the disintegration of their own identity, their culture, and their purpose. Their existence is an endless hunt, and the only possible evolution is to become an even more lethal and efficient hunter, always seeking the next great challenge to confirm their supremacy. The psychological analysis of the predator, when viewed through a scientific lens, reveals a fascinating and disturbingly coherent logic. It's not madness in the sense of a mental disorder, but rather a deeply ingrained system of beliefs and behaviors, shaped by millions of years of predatory evolution. They live in a reality where validation of themselves and their society comes almost exclusively through confrontation, overcoming, and victory in extreme hunts. We can draw parallels with human psychology in areas like extreme competition and the relentless pursuit of excellence, where high-performance athletes, scientists, or professionals dedicate themselves entirely to surpassing their own limits and their adversaries. The crucial difference, of course, lies in the playing field and the deadly consequences of this pursuit of supremacy. Evolutionary psychology theories, such as those of dominance hierarchy and territorial behavior, can be applied, but on a scale that transcends the planetary, reaching an intergalactic level. Predators select their targets not by chance, but based on their ability to pose a significant challenge, which demonstrates a form of intrinsic recognition of worth in the adversary, however paradoxical that may seem. Their meticulous tracking, their ambush tactics, and the strategic use of their advanced technology are not random. They are the result of a continuous refinement process, validated by generations of relentless hunting success. They learn, adapt, and evolve their strategies with each new encounter, transforming into even more efficient hunters. For them, efficiency in hunting is the very manifestation of intelligence and superiority. The absence of human emotions like guilt or remorse in their actions isn't a defect, but an intrinsic characteristic of their predatory nature, shaped by an environment where strength is law. It wasn't madness. It was cold calculation, predatory logic refined to perfection, a science of the kill that elevates hunting to the highest of arts. What truly remains after a predator's passage? A trail of extreme challenge, of unimaginable ordeal, and, for the surviving victims, an indelible terror. The legacy of chaos they leave behind isn't senseless destruction, but the unquestionable affirmation of their dominance and predatory supremacy. For the worlds they visit, and for the species that become their prey, the predator's presence acts as a brutal catalyst, forcing survivors to confront their own physical and psychological limits and to face the most primal aspect of terror. It shapes the surrounding environment, instilling not just fear, but, paradoxically, the pursuit of even greater resistance, of a capacity for counterattack they perhaps didn't even know they possessed. Human society itself, repeatedly encountering this threat, is forced to evolve, to develop new defense strategies and technologies. The philosophical reflection invites us to a profound and uncomfortable question. Who are we to judge the morality of a species, whose existence is intrinsically and inseparably linked to hunting and proving oneself? They operate on a radically different logic from ours, a universe where the pursuit of predatory supremacy is the ultimate law, the fundamental purpose. Perhaps the predator is, in essence, a dark mirror of our own most primal instinct, an exaggerated, but no less real, representation of the inherent competition and pursuit of superiority that resides in all species, including our own. It embodies the idea that life is a constant struggle and survival is the greatest trophy, yet with an intrinsic dignity to its code. But perhaps it wasn't the last. And with each new appearance, the myth of the perfect hunter is reinforced, leaving the question hanging in the air. What will be the next worthy prey for its ritual? And what does this relentless pursuit tell us about the nature of existence itself? And so, we've delved into the depths of the predator's mind, revealing that it's not a conventional villain, but a hunter guided by an ancient code of honor and an insatiable drive for challenge. Its cruelty doesn't stem from malice, but from an alien, relentless logic where hunting is the very essence of its being. Faced with its nature, we're forced to ask ourselves, are we so different in our own pursuit of overcoming and dominance? What truly separates us from a being that sees life as a vast, eternal hunting ground? The shadow of the predator remains, a dark reminder of the thin line between hunter and hunted within us all.